All right, Leah, one of my favorite things we do here is when we introduce you guys to local authors.
Yes.
And I think reading has really picked up recently, too. I mean, for a lot of non-readers, they're getting into picking up books and doing some reading.
I love seeing it.
I love it, too. So if you are a new reader, if you have been reading forever, we want to introduce you right now to Karl Wegener, a local author. You write historical fiction, but first, Karl, just thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure. I'm really happy to be here. So
We're so happy to have you.
We're happy to have you, yeah.
Thanks.
We're going to get into your book, Web of Spies, a historical fiction. But first, I'm just curious, Karl, what got you into writing?
Oh, that's a long story. I've always written as part of my job for almost my entire professional life. For the last 20 years or so before I retired, I actually worked as a copywriter for ad agencies and PR firms. So,
Nice.
And my wife was always after me to write. I always wanted to be a novelist, but I felt like at the end of the day I wrote so many words for other people.
You had none left.
I had none left for myself,
Yep.
exactly. So I was exhausted, and I really admire writers who can do that. I wasn't one of those. So when I retired at the end of 2021. I said, okay, let's see if I can write a book. So Operation Nightfall, Web of Spies is my second novel.
Ooh, okay, perfect. And this really dives into this historical fiction of, I'll let you actually explain it. It's in Poland, right? I mean, there's a lot that goes into this.
There's a lot going on in the story. Let me set the scene.
Yeah.
It's 1948. It's in the late autumn of 1948 on a moonless night. Two women land on a beach in northern Poland, and they're really on a secret mission to infiltrate into the country and meet with a sleeper agent and meet with anti-communist insurgents. But little do they know, their mission has already been compromised by a mole deep inside British intelligence. So they embark on a very harrowing escape as they're being hunted by their pursuers, and they don't know who to trust, and they don't know where to turn, and the question is, will they survive? Will they escape?
Okay, we're hooked.
We need to start our CoastLife book club, and I think you and I need to read this together.
This is, I don't even read a ton of historical fiction. I like it, but I don't read a lot of it. But that's already has me hooked.
Well, I think spies are always cool, but I think what's especially cool, and call me a little biased, but you've got two female leads in this story.
There's actually three.
Ooh.
There's a third because the sleeper agent is also a female, a young woman. So it's a very female-centric cast. And I wrote that. I took a little bit of historic literary liberty with that, but I wanted to honor the role that women played in espionage, especially in early espionage. Women during World War II especially played a tremendous role in espionage for the British. So this is part in homage to that.
Yeah.
Wow, this is exciting. And what led you to start wanting to write historic fiction?
Oh, I think, the Cold War in particular, which is, both of my books are set during the early early days of the Cold War. It was such a big part of my life. I grew up doing duck and cover drills. A lot of your viewers may remember those things. So I just wanted to write stories that people may not have heard of before.
Sure.
So, in this book, for example, the anti-communist insurgency Poland fought long after World War II ended, and the fighting lasted from 1945 to about 1953, and hundreds of thousands of Poles died during this time, and that's on top of what they lost during the war. And tens of thousands more disappeared, as I talk about it in the book. They disappeared into the fog. They wound up in labor camps in Siberia. The Russian oppression, Soviet oppression during in Poland was especially harsh, more harsh than in some of the other countries, but especially harsh. So I wanted to tell those stories that people had forgotten and may not have known about.
Ooh, I love this already.
I'm in.
I wish history in school was told,
right?
And this with you telling it, because you're a lot more interesting and captivating than, my history teachers.
Some of our history teachers of years past.
Yeah, I had a great history teacher in college. I took German history, and he was a German, and he would bring his Great Dane to class, and his Great Dane would lie down in front of him, and he would begin his lecture. He never cracked a book, never cracked notes, and right off the top of his head, he said, "Tonight, we're going to talk about Bismarck." Bismarck was a tall man, and he painted this picture, and it became vivid and incredible. So I wanted to write like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be interested in this. So where can they pick up the Web of Spies?
Yeah, it's called Operation Nightfall, the Web of Spies, and I've got copies for both of you.
Thank you so
We will
much.
dive into these. Thank you.
Thankfully, local readers can buy this book locally. It's stocked at Browseabout Books
Yes.
in Rehoboth Beach, at Bethany Beach Books in Bethany, and also at Caprico's Books in Ocean Pines, Maryland. And of course, it's available online at all the major online retailers, Amazon and Barnes & Noble and all that stuff.
Great. Well, we're starting the new weekend. I think if you need a weekend to read,
Time to dive in.
this is a good option, definitely. Karl, thank you so much for telling us about this and for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course, come back anytime. All right, guys, don't forget the Operation Nightfall, the Web of Spies by Karl Wegener. Right here, go to our favorite, of course, is Browseabout.
Books.
There's so many good local bookstores that you can pick this up at, so go do that this weekend. Right now, though, we're going to do more CoastLife.
That's right.
All right, our pet of the week is coming up soon.